Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Kel.
And we are bringing you the power rankings for Stage 3, Week 1. And we're going to do 11 through 20. But we've had some news drop since, in the, 8 hours since we recorded the first part of our video. As usual, that we record something and...
as soon as we're done, something happens.
So, all over Twitter, I don't know if you guys, most of you guys are on Twitter, but there's all these, bottom half of jerseys and, they're doing, some kind of, NFL color rush, NBA alt jersey, Major League Baseball alt jersey kind of things. Seems like. Yeah.
So it looks like...
One of them looks absolutely horrible, like the Steelers throwback jersey.
Unfortunately, it's the Defiant.
Yeah.
It looks... Ooh, boy. Yeah, it does not look good.
But other than that, you have all the teams...
look fucking awesome, though.
But it's like the bottom half, though.
Right. It's really hard to tell...
what it is.
What it is. I'm sure there will be some kind of official unveiling. There's been 14 teases so far.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure which teams were missing. It looks like the big one would be the Vancouver Titans.
The Shock
kind of debated people. Same with the Dragons.
Yeah. And the Mayhem actually did that too, because they kind of were like, "Oh yeah, here you go. Here's a blue and pink jersey."
Right. Here's that color scheme we've been teasing for a year and a half at this point.
At least it feels that way. Well, we had that. We thought a patch was going to drop. The patch.
Yeah, we were hoping it would be the patch. I had very little hope that it was actually going to be the real patch, just because the event doesn't end until the 10th or the 11th. So that's when I'm assuming that the patch that's currently on the PTR will drop. Right. When we'll get replay in game. But we did get confirmation that
it's going to happen.
Yeah, that the league replays will be coming. They're going to drop every Monday, but so far it has to be a separate client or a special client that you download in the Battle.net app. Yeah, similar to the way the World Cup one worked.
And PC only.
Yeah, so far.
For right now. But the patch thing annoys me because they made this big fucking deal in the off season with it's always going to be in sync with the game. We're going to sync it up with the game. The patch is going to be the patch that's in the game that you're playing. And here we are. Right. Not that it's going to make a massive difference, because the last patch was massive and it did nothing.
Right. All it did was kind of make Winston Goats a little more viable, but it's still Goats. They
pretty much ignored it.
Yeah.
Which is what these teams do, because, anyway, I'm a little annoyed with that.
For sure. The other big thing is they announced the full map pool, and one of them is going to be Havana. So that'll be the first time we see that played competitively.
Which will be good.
I'm excited for that.
I like
they're
playing
keeping
that
the order the same. So that's really expected at this point.
The order was good. The problem is the assault maps are absolutely fucking just setting you up for a boring. God.
Yeah, it's the 3 worst assault maps.
Paris, Volskaya, and Horizon. It's basically setting you up to watch people shoot at each other behind shields for
pretty much
6 minutes. I fucking hate bunker comp. And you know what? Everyone can hate on goats. I will watch goats all day long instead of watching 2 Orisas fucking shoot at each other for an hour. Fuck that.
Straight back and forth behind their shield.
Yeah.
But we are getting, so with the control maps, we're getting Ilios, Oasis, Nepal. No big surprises there.
No, Assault, I love all those maps too.
Yeah, I'm down with all of those.
And the hybrid maps, I'm down with all
some really
of them.
strong ones. Yeah, we got Hollywood, Eichenwald, and Numbani. We haven't seen Numbani in a while, so I'm definitely excited to see them play that.
Yeah. And the escort maps are really good too. I like all three of those.
Yeah,
they open it up for some different
Gibraltar and Dorado. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with on Havana. Even if it just ends up being goats, like I just want to see the the way that they approach.
Because that midpoint in the Don Rombotico warehouse, that's the tricky one.
That part's tricky, but I think also just the way that it starts is very weird because like you have those really long sight lines down the street because your first real defense point is that corner. The corner, and they got to come out of that spawn to get up that corner. I mean, you're gonna have if you don't run a widow there. I mean, normally you would run a widow there, I guess, right?
Or a Hanzo or a double sniper, and you can run Hammond works really well on that too on that map, especially in that part. The inside is where you're going to see a lot of interesting stuff, I think.
I also think that I think the inside is going to present some pretty interesting comps, and I think that might be like one of the few times where we see some random weird things pop out.
Yeah.
But I'm also very intrigued to see how many times we actually go to 3 with this, because that last point is brutal.
Yeah. Getting through the building and getting out the door, and it's brutal. Like we played it a couple times together, and getting out of the door is a feat.
Yeah, like the spawn is a weird setup. Then you have
it's similar to Gibraltar in a way.
Yeah, but, I think it's actually a little more punishing because not only do you have like that bridge, so like there's high ground, but then it's also like you can't really go over it like you can with the bridge. Like you can, at least on Gibraltar, like you can get on top of that, but you can't really get on top of that part. But there's still high ground around it that snipers can feast on, and like getting through that front entrance of there it's rough. So I'm very intrigued to see how they approach that.
And that last point, you can do a Farah kind of combo.
Mm-hmm.
If you, especially on, I think defense would be really good.
Yes.
Like coming out of the building into that, you can run Farah and all kinds of stuff like that. It's going to be really interesting. I don't think they're going to run straight goats, but who knows at this point.
Right.
With that. But, those are the big things. I mean, there really wasn't anything else that happened in the last few hours. I mean, like I said, we thought the patch was going to drop, but at least for the league, I was hoping for something, and it wasn't going to shake things up, but it just annoys me, not to go back to that again. It annoys me in the fact that they made such a big deal last year after all of the bullshit with the Mercy patch and then running it, and the game is on a different patch after that, and then they had the Sombra, that big Sombra buff, and then they had that they dropped and they reworked and they didn't sync that up, and then you had the Hanzo rework, and that it was just. They were like, well, we're going to run the patch and the game are going to be on the same thing.
Right. I do think that this is a little bit different in that it's not a massive patch. Like the McCree thing, that if it was anything besides McCree, I think people really wouldn't have even noticed.
Yeah.
Like the Orisa thing, I don't think people really care that much. The like minor little tweaks, even the Diva nerf, like I really don't think all that is going to have.
We were
that
joking
much
about
of an
that
effect
on the other episode.
Yeah, like I really don't think those are going to have that much of an impact.
Yeah. Other
than the McCree one, and even then, I don't think from what I've heard, like it's really not going to make that much of a difference either.
They don't care because they don't. And I'm gonna get on one of my. They don't care about that shit because they get blinders on.
Mm-hmm.
Last year it was dive is the only way you're going to win this game. This year it's goats.
Yeah.
So they're not going to try anything different. But like, I actually think that McCree, in the bunker comp, makes it stronger the way he is now. And you get him behind that Orisa shield, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
He'll mess you up. Yeah, let's dive
back into the power rankings then. So let's dive into 11 to 15. So at 11, I had the Spark. Now, we talked about the Spark in the last one. I think they're going to do well. It's just, I think a couple other teams are going to be better than them. Not by much, but I think they're going to... I think they're actually kind of in a trajectory towards where everybody was expecting them to be.
Yeah, I definitely think they're trending up.
Who'd you have at 11?
At 11, I had the Reign, just because, we talked a little bit about them as well.
Yeah.
But as far as Baby Bay getting integrated into the team, I think that's really made a big difference for them, and they really started to come together towards the end of the stage, and obviously what they did against New York was no small feat. So I think that they're also trending up, and I think they have a good shot to get back into the stage playoffs. Yeah,
I do too. And one thing we didn't discuss was the whole weird Daco situation at the beginning. That lost them a couple of games.
It definitely did.
But he's back in seemingly, full time. So
that makes a huge difference for all the way.
He's an unbelievable off tank.
He really is.
So at 12, I have the Defiant. Now I'm a little higher on the Defiant than you. I like a little by one spot. But
yeah, I think we have our 11 and 12 or 12 and 13 flipped.
Yeah, this is my cautious 12 with them because they're flipping their whole tank line. Apparently, we don't know what's going to happen with Envy. Asher retired out of nowhere. This team it seems like there's some shit going on there that they're not talking about, and it seems like there's a little bit of turmoil going on that, it's kind of, they're doing it, I guess in the right way, in quotes. They're keeping it in-house and they're dealing with their own way. They're not letting it get out on Twitter and on 9 million forms of social media.
Exactly.
But I think they have a chance to get back into it. I think they're going to kind of hover in that 8 to 12 range anyway, regardless of who's playing. I mean, maybe this Shriek God's Dua is going to be great for them.
It very well could be, but it's worrisome that they are making such a drastic change at such an important position. Considering
the position that they're in, standing wise, compared to like the other teams that are making drastic changes, like Washington and Florida and not Houston. There you go. There's a jab.
Yeah, right.
Got one in.
I mean, we still have to talk about them. We're a long way away from talking about them. But
first strike. Anyway, I just don't understand what's going on there. It seems really weird. I believe in them. I think they're good.
Yeah.
But I want to know what this is. Me and you are big fans that, like we talked about this on Sunday. Envy's really good. Is there a problem with Envy?
Right. Like, is there more going on with Envy? All of that. Like we talked about that quite a bit on Sunday, but yeah, it's definitely, it's a big question. And, it's kind of why I put them a little bit lower because, I just have a lot more questions with that team. Whereas at 13 or at 12, I had the Uprising.
And I had them at 13.
Right. And so I had the Defiant at 13. But with Boston, I feel like they had a rough stage too. Yeah, but they had a pretty big roster change in getting rid of Note and picking up RCK. So I think that was kind of to be expected because, especially with how integral Note was to that team, it's it still blows me away that it's so weird seeing him not playing for Boston right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
I think RCK he's really elevated his game so far for Boston, and I think now that they've had some time to regroup and
figure out his play style
and just figure out how to all play together again, I think watch out, like this team, like when they get that kind of time, they can really do some serious damage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think they're always going to be in the mix.
Yeah.
No matter where it is. Like, and they fall into that, like I was saying before, like that 8 to 12, 8 to 14 kind of, they're going to be in there somewhere. And
exactly.
I think that the more they play with RCK, it's almost like Shanghai with Gamsu, but a different position. But figuring out how he plays and the fact that he's more versatile, and I think they have to get used to sometimes not running the diva.
Yeah.
They're running Somber Goats. They don't have the diva in there. I think that was something that they had to get used to a little bit because they were just running straight up diva all the time.
So you always had Note, and Note was covering up a lot of mistakes, or just like he was everywhere he needed to be. So not having that, and that's nothing against RCK, especially when he's not even playing diva. Like you having to adjust to that is definitely it's going to take time.
It's going to take time, and I think they'll come back around in this stage. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to 14.
We both have the same team. The Chengdu Hunters.
Yep.
Everybody's favorite team. The Tim Tebow Broncos.
They really are.
They are.
I always enjoy watching this team, but I think at this point, the so-called Chinese cheese has been figured out, and like they weren't able to get into the stage playoffs because they couldn't clutch it out when they needed to.
Right, because when they have to actually go 3-3, they're not terrible, but they're not good enough to beat the teams that they need to beat to progress.
Exactly.
They're fun as fuck to watch.
They really are.
I am not going to lie. I love watching Ameng play. To be honest, he's the reason why I picked up Wrecking Ball.
Yeah. His Wrecking Ball is insane, and I really think that if Wrecking Ball even has ever becomes even sort of meta, this team is going to be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Because he's just that good at Wrecking Ball.
But he's average at the other tanks.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And their other players are good. They're not as great as everybody wants them to be. Jinmu is really good. I would say Jinmu is really
Jinmu and Ameng are really the cogs that keep this team even relevant. After that, it's a pretty big fall off. There's some other guys that make plays. Bacon Jack is a pretty good Widowmaker, but obviously Widowmaker is not going to be having any effect on things right now. So,
but right now he's kind of like Saya Player and Pine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that was long ago in a galaxy far, far away, man.
Right.
He could pull out McCree once in a while, Widowmaker once in a while, but at this point, the way the meta's going, it's not going to matter. Now, if we get into more of this bunker stuff where you're going to run a Widow in there, he might be better, or you throw the McCree in there.
Right.
You might be able to see him shine more, but they're a team that's stupid fun to watch. Everybody roots for them because they're fun, but I just don't see them getting up into that top 10 ever.
No, I really don't either. Unless there's a threat, at least not in this season. I think next season, depending on how things shake out and the changes and whatnot that we see, I think they can be better, and they'll probably have to make some roster changes as well. But yeah, I think I fear that we've seen the peak of what they can do right now.
I do too, and a lot of people are going to disagree with us on that, but from the beginning, it's not that I'm not a believer, and this is me talking as a Broncos fan right now. It's not that I didn't believe in the Broncos. I knew what the end result was going to be running the weird strat that they were running.
Exactly.
There was going to be, I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs, but they eventually lost, and they lost hard because the good actually not the good teams, the upper echelon teams just know how to beat that. And you're not going to go anywhere with that. The only thing I'm going to say, though, in their favor is they're probably going to have a better map differential than some teams later on down the road.
Yeah.
Are they going to have enough wins? If they have enough wins, that's the scary thing.
Yeah. If they can get some wins and sneak some wins, I think they've got a good shot of sneaking into some things.
Yeah.
But that's really the key, because I mean they win random maps because there's just times where they just throw things at you that teams are just like, what the fuck are we, like, what do I do?
And
how do I stop this?
It's generally control or assault. They have to. They don't win like the escort hybrid kind of maps enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the biggest things in the strat they're running against Goats, because Goats is so strong on those that it's hard to beat them. You can kind of cheese it out on the other two because it's all time dependent. If you get a couple of picks here and there, and all of a sudden you flip a point, and like an assault map, and then all of a sudden you snowball in, and they have no ults and they're playing Goats against you. You got it.
Yeah, exactly.
So right. let's move to 15.
15.
We both have the same thing again. We have the Paris Eternal. We're a little high on Paris for me.
Yeah,
this is another one of those ones.
At the same point, I think the teams under them are just so bad that. Like, they're just there by default.
They're like they're sitting on top of the cesspool.
Exactly.
They're the poop floating at the top of the toilet.
Pretty much.
The worst analogy ever made in anything, right there. They're the floating poop. God. Okay. Anyway,
they're the Baby Ruth in the pool.
Yep.
So yeah,
watch Caddyshack, Paris, guys.
Right. How much can we even really say more about this team? Like, they're an okay Goats team. I don't feel like they can really run anything else, but like their Goats is just not good enough to really get it done.
And their cheese stuff is not good enough to get that done.
Exactly.
To fake people out. They're middle of the road on pretty much everything. And and it's hilarious because if you look back like at the first part of the first stage, everybody's like, well, EU runs Goats better than everybody else. Nope.
Right. Do they, though?
No. Look to the east again. Korea. Anyway. And they're not even, like, mixed rosters beat them. They're just, I don't know what it is. They're just so blah, too, on top of it.
Yeah.
It's like they're playing Goats and they're not exciting playing Goats. Like, they're the least exciting team playing Goats. To me, it just, there's a lot of holes. They were trying at the beginning of the year to make it like the EU is the best Goats thing, and like all these guys they didn't have the right roster to begin with, in my opinion. They should have had Cloudy in.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no one that can play Zarya.
Yeah.
Efficiently, because Shadowburn and Soon keep flipping out, in and out. Those guys are just DPS gods. Some guys can pick up Zarya and some guys can't. And they're boring.
Yeah. That's really the biggest, my biggest issue with this team is like, they're never like, there's never a moment where like you think they're getting stomped.
Yeah.
But there's also not really any moments where you're like, damn, they're dominating. Like, they're just kind of there.
Yeah. There's never a moment like when you watch like the Mayhem or the Justice, you're like, what in the absolute fuck are you doing?
Right.
Or like the other way, like with San Francisco and Vancouver, you're going, this is incredible. They're just like, okay, right. Losing. Okay, winning. Oh, they won that map. What do you know? Oh, they lost that? It's pretty much Paris, the Eternal.
Pretty much. All right. Let's move on to number 16.
Okay, 16, I have a team way higher than probably almost everybody. The Washington Justice.
All right.
I think the more they play with Arc and Sleepy, the better they are getting. Better than the sludge that's below them. Let's just, be honest about where I'm going with this.
Right.
I think they're proving themselves to be better than the other crap teams. I think them and the Valiant are probably the two, and Paris are the three teams that are kind of better than the other stuff below them.
Mm-hmm.
I like the direction that they're starting to go in. I think that, and they did it in a pretty smart way. They figured out, what the best thing to do was to get a good support line first. Mm-hmm. And they have, okay DPS. They have marginal tanks, but they have guys that can keep them alive at least. So I think they're going to be in fights, especially in those people in that 15 to 20 range that they play. Mm-hmm. I think they will beat them.
Yeah, I do too. Like I have the Valiant here, but I do want to say a few things about the Justice. I think I really like the moves that they made. And I think that it puts them, it definitely elevates them. I mean, not that high because there's really not all that high they can go.
Right.
Simply just because, unless they had a complete roster overhaul, and even then I still would have it pretty low because there's only so much time to really coordinate and do everything. But with these changes, I think
they've won 2 or 3.
Right. This elevates them to right in that spot where the Eternal are, and I think they could overtake them. They could move up to as high as 13 or 14.
Yeah.
With what they've done. So I'm with you on that. I do have the Valiant a little higher because I think they've made some good changes. I'm really intrigued to see what they do now that they don't have Fate.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. And I think them kind of moving some guys around, I think putting Kareev back on Zenyatta, I think is going to make a big difference for this team as well.
Yeah. I think Izayaki is a good, because I had them right below Washington. We kind of had them flip-flop. I think Izayaki's a good dive Zen. If we were in a dive meta right now, people would be talking about him like Jonak.
Mm-hmm.
I think. But in this meta, I think Kareev is a smarter player. And having him in that Zen role, I think, is going to do them good. I really liked McGravy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be behind Space, but they might put him in other roles too, because he's pretty versatile.
Right.
I'm interested to see. They're kind of going more Western.
They are
almost like a full Western roster.
They're pretty damn close at this point. And most of the people that they do have that are Korean also speak English. We know Kareev speaks English. And now that they've gotten rid of Fate, that kind of makes it definitely going more for the Western side. So, yeah, it's really interesting to see what this team is going to do. I'm so fascinated by how it's going to go for them, and I hope it works out, honestly.
Yeah, because I
want to hate this team, but I can't because they're so terrible.
I'm a big fan of Costa.
Yes,
and I just like he does all the videos and all that stuff, but I like the way he plays too. And it's not necessarily his gameplay. I always go back to this. He's a leader, and you need guys like that in, whether his brain is too small for the fucking meta or not.
Right.
Or too big, I should say, for the rest of the team. He's in there all the time, and they looked better last stage with him in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have some...
I agree.
They have some iffy spots, but you really can't, it's hard to pinpoint and say, oh, this guy's bad, because you're thinking of them as a DPS player, like agility. So you're like, all right, he was pretty versatile last year, but he's an okay Brig. It's just you got to wrap your head around a different thing now.
Yeah,
you can't consider them DPS players. The Brig player is where you got. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. All right. So let's move on to number 18.
I have the Charge.
Yeah. Same.
I would like to see them do better. I was really high on them after the first stage. I thought they were doing really well. They're really fun to watch. But I don't know what they just imploded. Last stage.
They really did. They completely fell apart. I think they have one true stud in Shu, but then every other part of that roster is just huge question marks. And and like with the way that the meta is working currently, Shu isn't really able to like really do enough to make a difference. I think, but my God, I hope Anna makes becomes more meta, even if it is still goats, because my God, his Anna is disgusting.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I do some of the stuff they got a little better when they started putting Eileen in more.
Yes,
and he's one of those guys when they do the wax strat that he's going to be good. Like if they do like in contenders, we were seeing like the Doomfist. Doomfist May? Doomfist Sombra.
No, Torb May.
They also were doing Doomfist Sombra as well.
Oh yeah, Doomfist Sombra, yeah.
He's really good.
Torb May and Doomfist Sombra. I think they could, like, honestly, this team could be a really good Torb May team.
Yeah, and
I'd be really interested to see that.
Yeah, and I like Hoppa's versatility. They just were kind of meh. Well, right. Not meh. They were terrible.
They were horrible for a while. I don't know, what the hell happened, but they seem to kind of get it back together.
Which is good.
The last couple games. I don't have much hope after a stretch like that. Like, there's a reason that starts.
Yeah, and I honestly, for me, I have them there. For me, this is a little bit lower than I wanted to put them, but I don't see them better than anybody else right now. Mm-hmm. I think they could go up if they kind of get things back together like they were in first stage.
Yeah,
because they were playing good teams and they were kind of fucking giving them some runs there too. I mean,
for sure.
We're down to the bottom two.
Who will it be?
Red light, green light.
Well, for 19, it's going to be the green light.
Yeah.
Because as bad as they are, and as much as we give them shit, they're not the worst team in the league.
Stay hard.
Houston.
Yeah, well, we've
stay hard.
Hashtag stay hard.
Oh God.
I keep saying that because I'm a dick. And I'm a Mayhem fan, so welcome to the shit show, Houston.
Right? I mean, I'm a Browns fan, so I understand. I've been through 2 decades of some of the worst some of the worst sports franchises you'll ever see. So, I know.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw this out there to the people that are Houston fans. When Mayhem fans are making fun of you, how bad are you?
Right.
Just going there.
At least the Mayhem fans. Well, because now the Mayhem fans have basically turned into Browns fans during like the 0-31 season or the 0-31 stretch or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you're just like,
oh, we played a good quarter. We took a map.
Yeah, we took a map. We
against
you
Washington.
Just like have to find any little bit of joy that you can because everything else is just like agonizing heartbreak or just like questioning why you're even watching it in the first place.
It's like someone shooting darts at your eyeballs.
Basically. And then you like, I mean, literally there was so much time growing up watching that team where it's like, are they even playing the same sport? And then you'd watch a Sunday night game. You'd be like, no, they are not.
And it was Tampa Bay and Carolina.
Right.
It wasn't even like it was like New England and fucking Pittsburgh.
Oh, that might as well have been like watching some alien sport that I've never seen before in my entire life. But I mean, like when it comes to being as bad as these two teams are, you just like are left scratching your head like, why do you keep making the same boneheaded decisions time after time?
Well, and one team is being steadfast and boneheaded.
Yeah, at least with the Mayhem, like they're
trying,
constantly changing their roster, probably too much.
But the Browns, they're not getting good talent. You're getting Jeff Garcia,
right,
or Jake Delahome.
Mm-hmm.
You're not. Everybody's
picking up
like
Dwayne Bowe.
Yeah, fucking Peyton Manning goes to be a free agent, and you guys are chasing Spurgeon win around.
Yeah. Jesus.
But you know what I mean? It's like that's what the Mayhem are doing. It's like, well, what can we throw together that's going to be all Korean and kind of not terrible?
Yeah.
We got Fate, who is like...
he at one point, he has been a top-tier tank. This season, not so much, but he has been really good in the past. Maybe he can bring that back. That's like the Brownsiest move I've ever seen.
Right. I mean, they needed a main tank. They got a good one. The problem is and their DPS are good.
They have very good DPS for sure.
Zephyr is terrible though. That's the biggest problem.
Zephyr's not good. And their supports are still lacking. They're better than they were last year.
But shit's better than diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly. Now you have a solid poop instead of...
wow, we're talking poop. A lot of poop in this episode.
It's basically what it was.
We're at the bottom, so yeah, here we go. I mean, I think Hagopin's decent. Chris is okay. Off-tank is so integral in this meta, and they look so much better when McGravy was in there.
Yeah, they really did.
He was eating grabs. He was, making plays.
Simply making plays, like that is more than they had at any other point. That's what just like blows me away, that they're just like, nah.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
Well, it's all bare hands doing. I don't know if I have faith in him or not. I mean, his hands could be tied with money and whatever, being a fan. But, I mean, they're trying. Whereas the other team that's at the bottom, Houston, is not trying. Mm-hmm. They're just going to be the Houston Outlaws. Fuck you, we run goats.
Pretty much.
That should just be their new hashtag. Fuck you, we run goats.
Pretty much. I mean, like I get the whole controversy and everything, but honestly, at this point, it's not even how like the strategies that they're going, because if you want to win in this league right now, you have to play goats.
Right.
It's just a simple matter of that. And that's not even what upsets me about this team. It's their complete and utter lack of trying to change their roster in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And their just hesitation to do anything to improve that.
And
they did one thing, and it was picked up Dante in the offseason. Has he been good? Yes, but it's not enough.
Yeah, and the problem is that they're like, everyone's like, well, they made roster moves. You got rid of all the people that didn't play. The problem is the people that are playing, not the people sitting on the bench. Right,
like you don't need like you're not even using your bench. Like why are you messing with that when your main roster is just it's hot garbage.
Yeah, like minus one player right now in my mind.
Yeah.
And that's Muma. And
really
the next person that says their fucking off tanks are good, fuck off.
Yeah.
Watch the fucking games. First off, they should have picked up McGravy. McGravy would have been fucking fantastic on that team because he's better than Cool Matt and he's better than Spree. Fight me. Fight me for days. Fight me for weeks. I don't give a fuck. Stay hard. Whatever. Draw another picture of fucking Cool Matt in anime form. That's what this is all about. It really annoys me.
That but then also just like
I'm sorry. I lived it. I keep saying it. I lived it last year. So I loved that team. They were fun. They were awesome. They were terrible. The Mayhem.
And it's like when you look at like you're just keeping it together for zero reason because
the fans like it. And
the fans like it, and you don't want to
fans lashing out on you because you fucking cut Linkser,
right?
Or traded Linkser.
I mean, you don't need to cut Linkser.
But what I'm saying,
exactly. But the big thing is like their supports are hot garbage too. Like that's the other thing. Like Raucus is not a good. He's not good enough. He is good, but he is not good enough.
Yeah,
and then
Anna's decent, but it's not.
Yeah, but Anna's not. She's not relevant. If she is, maybe they'll be a little bit better. But it's still. What is that going to put you at 18?
And their main supports are average at best.
Oh yeah, their other supports are. I think okay. Honestly, you know what? I think they're terrible. I really
think they're okay. I think they're better than about 5. Bonnie and Boink are about better than 5 other teams. All right, so they're terrible.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, exactly. So you can't. I mean, and because like of the skill set of both of them, you really don't have that much flexibility with them because neither one of them are that good at Lucio.
Boink is probably better in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
it can be so much better. And then I think Raucus is probably
the most overrated player in the league.
Oh, he's definitely the most overrated player in the league, and I think that just in general, like there's guys sitting on benches that are better than him.
For sure.
Like, I mean, if the Valiant want to make some kind of trade, 100% they should be trying to get Kariv or Izayaki.
Oh yeah, Izayaki or Kariv with Houston would be fantastic.
Yeah. And just their refusal to make any adjustments to their main roster, it just continues to baffle me and wonder, like, are you even trying to win or like get better? Because obviously what you have is not working, and forcing the same people to constantly play isn't going to help you either.
Sure, they know how each other plays, but at this point, it's proven to be not good.
Exactly. Right, like you and I play together, and our best goal to get out would be, or our best goal to hit would be like both of us being mid gold.
All right, guys. So that is going to be the first power rankings for stage 3. Stay tuned for some. We're going to start doing the picks again and things like that. We're going to shoot some more stuff out at you, like just little videos. And then obviously, the stuff like this, power rankings, Sunday back cap. If anything, big happens, we'll obviously do a video and, talk to you guys some more. So if you guys are on YouTube, definitely hit a like and a subscribe. That would help us out a lot. If you are listening on, our, audio only version and whatever podcast, you're on, podcatcher, if you're on iTunes, Spotify, please hit a ranking or a rating. That would be fantastic. We also have a Patreon page. We're going to have a lot more stuff coming up, especially with the replays coming in. We're going to be doing a lot more deep dives into matches and, just doing like, maybe a 15, 20 minute video. They're going to be on there where we talk about, what guys are doing and what we liked, and probably meme a little bit as well, because we have a tool now to do that.
Oh yes.
And anything you can 360 and put into like, stop motion. Yeah. Anyway, but we're going to have some fun with that too. So check that out. All the links are down below. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. Hey, we're back in action on Thursday, and we will have the picks up, and we'll talk to you later.
Yep. Catch you guys on the next one. Later.